Hello and welcome to Sports Strategies, a program that focuses on topical issues and developments in the business of sports. I'm Alf the Bosses. One of the legacy venues provided by the Toronto 2015 Pan Am Para-Pan Am Games was the Mattamy National Cycling Centre. This state-of-the-art velodrome in the community of Milton, northwest of Toronto, is the only facility of its kind in Canada and only the second in North America that meets top international standards. And while it's the official new home of Canadian cycling, this venue is much more than just a bike track. Curt, this is the new home of Canadian cycling, but it is also a community facility. What aspects of this venue allow it to be, on the one hand, an international cycling destination, and on the other, a community recreation center?
It does meet and is a fully functioning international standard Class A racing facility. And that is not only just the field of play or the track surface itself, it's some of the infrastructure that's been put into place to help in that mobility, help in the movement of equipment, the athletes, the storage facilities, all of those elements. But we are, we are sitting and right now shooting from a place where, as you can see even in the background, I'm sure there's people walking around this facility, just getting some indoor fitness, some mothers with carriages, some people just getting some general all-around fitness, walking around, hidden or protected from the elements, and really that design was that feature, that ability to sort of transcend from community to international high performance use was brought in and built into this facility from day one, but not uncommon in velodromes around the world.
Curt, 40 years ago when Montreal hosted the Summer Olympics, a velodrome was left behind as a legacy venue. And yet for years it struggled to survive before it was eventually abandoned and redeveloped for other use. What factors are in place at this venue to prevent that from ever happening here?
I think we've touched on a number of things, and again, it was, to compare it to some of facilities that existed like this in this country is there's probably no comparison whatsoever, and that is the way that the facility has been brought forth, the popularity of the sport, the commitment of dollars outside of just community use that is going to ensure there's a legacy fund in place to ensure that the facility remains and has a sustainable element to it from a high performance perspective. There's just so many factors that will keep this facility alive for generations to come that are different than the model that was put forward in previous iterations of indoor cycling velodromes in this country. And I think the Montreal story, or the Montreal Olympic program, is a completely different beast compared to what was delivered here in Toronto and in this region for the Pan Am Games.
This venue opened its doors in January 2015. After a year of operation, what have been some of the challenges in managing the venue, and what, if any, adjustments have been made to the facility and to the other sport components that the venue is housing?
The plan is for that sustainability, and again, the facility has really only been operating. It was opened up at 5 months at the start of 2015, had to shut down for the Pan Am Games, just reopened up at the beginning of September. So it's one of those things where the facility hasn't been operating at a full flight from day one, so we can sit back and start reflecting on the numbers. Actually, one of my biggest challenges is getting time on the track because it's at capacity. So unless I want a Saturday night at about 11 o'clock, that's the only time you get time on this track. So, but again, it is a full-on community center. So you walk through these doors and there's a lot of activity going on in this facility. There's a number of tenants. Ontario Cycling Association is a full-time tenant here in this facility. Canadian Sports Center, Sport Institute or Canadian Sport Institute Ontario. I always put the of in there. I apologize to them for that. Has sort of a satellite office in here. The town of Milton's got some people that work here. So it's a full-on community center. And again, providing services to this community outside of purely just high-performance cycling. So people can be accessing this facility at the same time that the national team is training for the next World Cup or the next World Championship. And that actually, to me, is very exciting to sort of have that crossover, because now you start thinking about kids that are going to come out here and start playing basketball with their high school team or their community team, and then look up and they're going to see some of these athletes whizzing around the track, and they say, hey, maybe one day I want to give that a try, and that's exciting for me.
Curt, as you well know, cycling, and more specifically road racing, has had to deal with a serious doping issue for years now. How do you attempt to attract new participants to the track when the sport is still trying to overcome years of scandal?
Well, I do believe the sport is seeing a commitment and an energy and an excitement that it's never seen before. There's more and more people coming and getting involved into the sport than we've ever seen in the past, and that's exciting. Its past is what it was, and I believe that the organization at the highest level has done its best and continues to fight the cheaters that have existed and probably will continue to exist. It's about the passion about what the bike brings to us as individuals. It's the reason why I rode my bike for so many years. It's that first sense of freedom that you get as a child, and then you get to kind of have that commitment and that opportunity to fulfill that on a daily basis in a facility like this, world class. You get to intermingle as the community groups are now getting onto the track right now. They're walking past national team athletes that are out achieving and pursuing their goals and their dreams, and it's that crossover, I believe, that keeps the energy at its highest. And again, the ability for people, community groups to come here, do a tour through, come here and walk around the track and play some basketball and see what cycling has to offer as a form of fitness, as much as an opportunity to pursue one's dreams. These types of facilities draw that in to a greater effect. I mean, I know the town of Milton's been getting phone calls from our friends in the Southern Hemisphere saying, when it's winter down here, we need a place to train. Do you guys got availability for us? So it's just it is that opportunity that's going to, I think, continue to build.
Curt, thank you so much for joining us today, and we look forward to watching many world-class cycling events right here at this venue.
Thanks.
Thanks, Al.
The community of Milton is banking on this facility to be a focal point of the surrounding region as the sport of cycling continues to evolve and attract younger participants. This year-round venue has the ability not only to produce elite international athletes, but also to accommodate daily recreational users and promote health and wellness in the greater community. Thank you for watching Sports Strategies. I'm Alf de Blassis. For access to all the episodes in this series, subscribe now to Sports Strategies.